Former crew members of El Faro in the spotlight on this 7th day of hearings here in Jacksonville. The goal today for the panel overseeing the hearings to get an idea of what life was like on the freighter. Channel 4 Scott Johnson is live at the convention center downtown. And Scott, you spoke to a family member of someone on board the ship. What did he have to say?
Well, they're concerned about a lot of things, going through the most emotional testimony right now about the rescue effort, seeing images of the wrecked lifeboats. That's one of the issues that has been brought up as a concern for some of the things wrong with the El Faro that could have been improved that may have helped. The primary testimony today from two former crew members of El Faro discussing things like lifeboats on the ship, problems with the boiler, and the Polish welding crew on board. All things discussed already in the hearings, but critical points in this investigation. I spoke with Glenn Jackson, whose brother died on El Faro. He and the other families were just given these T-shirts as they stepped out of the hearings.
These are provided by the Seafarers International Union, of which my brother was a member.
Okay.
In memory of El Faro, gone but not forgotten.
Jackson was frustrated by a few issues like talk of the lifeboats and are not enclosed on top, as well as the boilers. The panel went in depth with the former chief engineer on El Faro about various problems the unit had.
They knew they had a problem, and the boilers are the main contributor to the propulsion unit. They knew they had a problem, and it was deferred. Rod
Sullivan is the maritime attorney sitting in on the hearings that we've been checking with daily. He says the questions about the ship having open lifeboats instead of closed ones is another issue the maritime industry is going to have to deal with.
That's been a known problem for years. Once a vessel is 15 degrees listing to one side, launching the lifeboats is a virtual impossibility. Launching lifeboats in 30-foot seas is a virtual impossibility. So then you're relegated to using the rafts and quite frankly, getting off of a ship onto a life raft in high seas and heavy winds is a real chore.
There were also numerous questions about the Polish welding crew on board and how versed they were in emergency procedures with the life rafts. Sullivan suspects this panel is looking at whether more interpreters are needed on ships.
It's one of the things they can do is they can suggest that there need to be more interpreters, there need to do away with the language barrier. But to suggest that that actually caused people to lose their lives in this case, I think is not going to be borne out by the facts.
And my colleague Chris Parento is inside now tweeting out images we're seeing for the first time of those wrecked lifeboats on the ocean. Have not seen these before. Go to our News for Jack's Twitter channel. You can see them there and see what the aftermath really looked like. We're live downtown. Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Scott. And News 4 Jax has also learned the former president of Sea Star, a former owner of El Faro, will file an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. Frank Peake was convicted in 2013 for federal price fixing. Peake's attorney, David Marcus, tells us his client's trial should not have been held in Puerto Rico, as prosecutors portrayed the people of Puerto Rico as victims of price fixing. Marcus also says during the trial, prosecutors made improper statements to get jury sympathy, and he says price fixing laws refer to illegal actions in states. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. We reached out to Tote about this. They have no comment.